This is a Testosterone podcast with Noel, Keith, and Steve. Take it away, dudes.
Welcome, everybody, to the Testosterone podcast. This is episode 29. This is Noel, and I'm with my buds Steve and Keith. Welcome, guys.
Howdy.
Did I hear a niner in there? Is there a niner?
Niner? Yes. This is episode 29er.
All right.
Yeah.
Almost to 30. We're almost mature. It's great.
That's right. Great. It's almost 30 episodes that the state of Louisiana has missed out on.
Yeah,
so
I know. Still.
Just 29% of our butts.
I know. All the way to Uranus.
All the way to Uranus.
There we go.
We're not even a minute into it. We've already worked in Uranus and Louisiana dig. So
we're done. Let's go home, everybody.
Yeah. And we're done.
And thank you, everybody. Tune in next week.
Until next time, America.
Right. So we've got Steve. You want to talk about the weekly bracket challenge? Kind of explain that, and then we'll get all that.
Sure, absolutely. So got talking with Noel and Keith about what can we do to create a little competition during the college football season, and as you know in our previous episode, we picked out our 3 backup teams, for lack of better terms, and so we decided that'd be fun to pick out a game from each of the Power 5 conferences. So the ACC, the Big 10, the Big 12, the Pac-12, and the SEC. And we'll just pick one game from each conference each week and sort of pick out who we think is going to win the game. We'll keep track throughout the season, wins and losses. And then we also want to invite our listeners to chime in, give us their thoughts, give their predictions. And Keith, I believe you said you want to send a little swag to whoever wants to.
Absolutely, yes. If you want to join us, we're going to have a special guest each week to do some predictions. And then if we end up with a tie towards the end of the season, we may have maybe the last couple of playoff seasons of the year. We might have some of those guys come back on in the winter, or probably the top 2. We'll send some swag their way.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well, with that in mind, we got some games to pick, and guys, are y'all ready to make some predictions?
Yeah, this is all Steve's idea, and kudos, man. Awesome idea.
Yeah, so let's see. The first game is going to be in the ACC. Miami versus LSU is actually going to be playing a neutral site in Dallas at Jerry World. Keith, who do you have between Miami and LSU?
Golly, that's a tough. I'm going to go with Miami on that one.
Miami. Okay.
I'm gonna go with brother Josh last week, and I'm gonna go with Miami this time. What about you guys?
No,
I'm picking Miami. I just cannot stand the state of Louisiana right now for some reason, so I'm gonna pick against LSU and go Hurricanes, or go Canes. Excuse me.
Okay.
What do you say about that, LSU fans? Oh, right, nothing.
Yeah. You have no idea that we're dissing you.
Say nothing. Steve, who do you got?
So I'm gonna give Louisiana a little bit of love. I think they are gonna have a pretty good team this year, and so while Louisiana gives us no love right now, I'm gonna pick LSU to win that game.
All right. So 2 Miami, 1 LSU. That ought to be interesting.
Yeah.
So
let's move north with this one. This next one is for the Big 10. We got Michigan at Notre Dame. A classic rivalry here.
Okay, no, I'll let you go first.
I'm going to pick Michigan for this one.
Okay.
I just got a feeling about them this year. I think they're going to try to their coach is under a little bit of pressure and needs to kind of put up a really good season and everything. So I know Notre Dame was pretty good last year, but I think I'm going to go with Michigan for this one.
Yeah, sounds good.
What about
I tell you what, I'll go ahead and take Michigan as well. The Notre Dame fight song was my junior high school fight song. I couldn't stand that song. So I want to read.
It was my high school fight song.
No kidding. How weird.
Yeah.
Keith, what about you?
I'm going to have to do that same. I've always liked Michigan, so I'm hoping that they have a good season. I'm going to go Big 10 on this one.
Okay, very good, very good. Speaking of Big 10, did y'all see that Urban Meyer got a mild 3-game suspension for his
Anybody surprised?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not at all.
You better not do that again.
Yeah,
Wink,
shame
wink.
on you.
Nudge, nudge. There you go.
Yeah, I saw
All
somebody
right.
on Twitter. He said Urban Meyer got fired up his barbecue grill.
That's great. That's great.
All right, Steve, you get to answer this one first. What's next?
Okay, so the next game is out of the Pac-12. We got Washington, which was Keith's team from last year, versus
yeah.
Auburn, and this is
One of Keith's teams from last year.
Yeah. Thanks for the reminder, Noel.
This is a neutral game site in Atlanta.
That's what I'm here for, man.
Yeah. So Washington versus Auburn in Atlanta. I'm going to take Auburn on this one.
All right. So it's Auburn, and Washington.
So, what are you Auburn too, Noel?
No, I'm picking Washington.
I am too. Go Huskies. Go Huskies.
Yeah, I'm gonna pick against the SEC on this one and go with Washington.
Yeah, Kirk Herbstreit. I guess I sent you that earlier. His playoff bracket has Washington as one of the 4. So I'm gonna go with you on that one too, Noel. I like it.
Yeah,
go Huskies.
We'll see.
At this rate, I'm either going to be in first place or last place.
I know. All I can say is I hope Noel's not wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh man.
Okay, let's head back down south to the SEC. Let's do Louisville versus Alabama. Noel's team here.
This is shaking in Noel's boots. I'm pretty sure. Noel, since this is your team, who you think?
Pretty much gonna go with Alabama. I mean, that's
It'd be really funny if you picked Louisville.
That's a given.
Yeah, me too. What say you, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, you'd be crazy to not pick for Alabama, even though Louisville's going to be decent this year. It's not going to be.
What is their preseason ranking? I don't even know.
Louisville?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I saw they're like top 25. I mean, it's,
okay.
We'll see.
Well,
we'll see.
That'll be good.
Doesn't matter. Preseason doesn't matter though.
That's true.
So we'll come back home to the Big 12. We got a season opener, Texas Tech versus Ole Miss, and that game's gonna be played at the NRG Stadium in Houston. So, guys, Keith, you want to take this one?
Hey, guns up, man! I'm going for the Red Raiders. I'd love to see. There's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of anticipation, and they're even though it's an away game, they got a lot of love in Houston, and that's where the game's going to be played. So I'm going to go for my alma mater in this one.
Yeah,
for an upset kind of I think it'll be an upset surprise type thing, but I think they got it.
No, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Texas Tech. I can't pick against my Red Raiders, although I think Ole Miss is going to be good, and it's going to be a tough game. Especially since it's the first game of the season, and you're kind of working out the kinks. But both teams are going to be doing the same thing, so we'll see. I mean, it'll be a fun game to watch. It's going to be in Houston in front of a lot of fired up Red Raiders. So hopefully that's enough to push them across the finish line there. So. Last time we played Ole Miss in the Cotton Bowl, it didn't turn out so good.
Man, and those those students were so obnoxious.
Oh, they really were, man.
Oh my gosh.
God, they were obnoxious.
We get a little revenge against Hottie Toddy.
Oh gosh, yeah.
We need it for sure.
Yeah. Steve?
You know what? Our quarterback situation scares me to death, but I really think our defense is going to be awesome this year. So I'm going to be cautiously optimistic. And
there you go.
Look at you. All right.
Way to bring it back. So, so let's carry that. Who do you think is going to start?
Gosh, I read an article. I can't remember what the name of the kid is. I don't even know who our quarterbacks are.
McLean Carter.
Zebby Lethridge.
There you go. That's one.
Zebby Lethridge. Pat Mahomes.
That would be an upgrade.
Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, no, I've heard a rumor that that it's going to be McLean Carter. Which, man, if you've looked at his JUCO stats, the guy's a pretty big beast. If he can reel it in, so he had some records. So hopefully he'll do pretty good. I hope. But
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised. I was thinking it was going to be possibly Jet Duffy, but from what I understand, watching Don Williams' blog and reading some of that stuff, and other people, everybody's saying that McLean Carter's getting the most reps. So we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, the thing I hear about Jet Duffy, I sort of wanted Jet Duffy to be the guy, but every time you hear a report from practice, he's thrown 2 or 3 interceptions each practice. So it's against our defense. Other schools are going to eat him alive.
Yeah, that's true. It's true. So it'll be interesting. So hopefully, one thing I know for sure is Cliff Kingsbury knows quarterbacks, if nothing else. So I think we'll be okay. Yeah, whoever it is, they're all three pretty decent. I like Jet because he's a good scrambler. He's mobile. But from what I understand, McLean Carter is pretty mobile too. So we'll see how it goes. So
it'll be
good. It'll be good. Yeah. Other things we'd like to learn, and we talked about this last week, was learning a little bit about each one of our colleges that we're choosing and that we're rooting for, in addition to Texas Tech. But other things that we've actually had a couple of schools that have actually reached out to us about some traditions that they've had. I thought that was pretty cool. So before we talk about that, do either one of you, maybe each week we should share 1 or 2 traditions from our schools that we're rooting for now? Do either one of you have something you want to share this week, or should we save that for next week?
Let's save that for next week.
Okay, fair enough. So this week, there is we did get some feedback from one of the University of Central Florida fan sites, and so it was basically he's a guy that's the administrator of this, is a former, I guess he's a former sports writer for University of Central Florida. And it's the ucf.football.updates Instagram page. And that's where we're getting this from. So thank you guys for sending us some information. But I'd like to hear about traditions that schools have. And he basically was able to give us a couple. He said one of his favorite traditions is something called Zombie Nation after touchdowns. And basically, you got to kind of Google this, but it's they play the song Zombie Nation, and then the house is just rocking basically. So every time they have touchdowns, all the student body, all of the stadium is just jumping up and down to the Zombie Nation song. So it's pretty cool. Is cool. Yeah, it was. And then the other thing, which I've read a little bit up on, is this. It's. Hang on, I'm a hot mess over here. You hear all the crashing, like everything but I fell right then. So anyway, but there's a tradition at homecoming. Sorry about that. That was awkward. There's a tradition at homecoming called the running into the reflection pond. And they basically, it's called the Spirit Splash, is what I'm seeing on some of the websites. And so basically at homecoming, it's an annual pregame pep rally that they hold during the homecoming week. And in fact, back in, I believe it was 2011, the National Association for Campus Activities rated this tradition the #1 tradition of a university with more than 10,000 full-time students, the #1 tradition in college. So back in 2011, they won that award for this. But you got to Google this or get on YouTube and Google this thing. I mean, it is literally, they have this huge reflection pond, and I guess it's kind of in the student union commons area of their school. And they've got the cheerleaders, they've got the president of the university, and they're all in these swimsuits. And then the Zombie Nation song will start jamming, and everybody just jumps into this pool, and there's like 10,000 kids in this pool. It's crazy. So yeah, it's really, really cool. So I definitely recommend looking at this thing on YouTube, because it really is impressive. And so, and I found something else that I thought was interesting about University of Central Florida that you guys may not know. Over the last, basically since 2009, University of Central Florida is in one of the top 3 schools with the largest public enrollment in the United States. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. Wow. So last year they were #2 behind A&M only.
Wow.
In 2016 and 17 and 15 and 16, they were the #1 enrolled school. 2013 and 14, they were #2. 2012, 13, and 11 and 12, they were number 2. And 2010, 11, and then in 2009 and 10, they were number 3. So only Ohio State, Arizona State, and A&M have been ahead of them as far as population of enrollment. Isn't that crazy? I didn't know that.
I did not know that either. Wow.
Yeah. So it's a major school. And so pretty cool. I like learning some things about them. So hey, guys, I appreciate you all's feedback over there at the UCF.football updates Instagram. Thanks for your support with that. And we look forward to supporting you guys. You all had a heck of a year last year, and I hope you have a good one this year too.
Yeah. Keith, I saw that video of from their football games of the Zombie Nation. Holy cow, it's crazy to watch. And
it is. It's fun.
It makes you also respect the engineers of these stadiums, because how that place doesn't fall down during that is beyond me.
I know. Do you wonder if they sit there and go, okay, we've got to factor in jump factor?
Yeah,
I mean, what do the engineers have to discover? How far can this thing flex before it crashes? I don't know, but yeah, you're right. It's
very cool.
They've got to have some stress tests going on with, could we get the whole student body on this riser, see what happens? So anyway, pretty impressive though. So good luck to the UCF football team this year, and appreciate you guys for listening in and being a part of the contribution.
Yeah, that was cool. While you were talking, I watched the video of the spirit splash. That is cool.
Yeah,
it is really
cool. It is cool. And I really like that night that they have. Yeah. That's a cool. Mm-hmm. I like that.
Yeah,
he looks good.
That is really something.
Pretty good. Yeah, that's one of those schools where, and it's crazy because my wife loves Orlando and all this stuff. I don't really pay attention. I've never really paid attention to the school, but the more I learn about it, the more I really like it. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. Yeah. Pretty cool. So anyway, thanks again, guys. So here we also had another listener, and I'm just gonna call her by her first name, which I've never done in my life before. so I'm just gonna say hi, Jane. So we have, even though this is a testosterone zone, we have every kind of listener. So we are excited for Jane to be listening to us, and she has listened to all of our episodes, which is really cool, she said. But she had a question for us to ponder. And let me tell you a little history. I know her very well. And she used to have, and if you're listening to this, we would love, if you don't mind, every once in a while to put in one of these your notes from your classroom chalkboard. She had this thing that she was putting on Facebook for a while, about just little points to ponder, and she would put one. I think it was either every Monday or something like that on her. She used to be a school teacher, and some of them were awesome. So if you don't mind, if you're listening, still, please maybe share with us a couple of those that you wouldn't mind us putting up on the podcast each week. But anyway, so here's the first one that she wanted us to ponder. So y'all ready?
Yes,
go for it.
Fire away.
Okay, so she wants us to talk about one phrase. It's a kind of an old proverb, and so I thought I would get your thoughts on it. So here it is: a daughter's a daughter all her life, but a son's a son until he marries a wife. So a daughter's a daughter all her life, and a son's a son until he marries a wife. So she wanted to get our opinion on that phrase and what we thought about it. Any thoughts?
There's some thought of, like, for example, I mean, a daughter's a daughter all her life, a son's a son until he marries a wife. So the daughter stays more connected with her birth family than does the son after he gets married. Mm-hmm. So there's also, I was reading something about this that talked about the like, for example, the wife's traditions become the traditions of her new family, like her husband and her kind of adopt her family's traditions. And when I say traditions, I mean things like, like Christmas traditions are things that become family traditions. Like, if you open presents on Christmas Eve, or if you open presents on Christmas Day. And then even, like in our family, my wife's family open presents by, every person in the room gets a present, and then one by one, each person opens a present and everybody watches. In my family, you distribute the presents to everybody, you say go, and everybody rips the thing, rips it open. We're done in like 30 seconds. My wife's method for opening presents, her family's method for opening presents takes like, most of the day. So,
right.
But whenever we do presents and we open presents and everything, if we're at her family's house, then we open presents, their tradition. We follow their traditions. When we're at my parents' house, we follow their tradition. So,
so what do you do at your house?
Well, we haven't had a Christmas at my house. We rotate. So we've never actually tested that, which is kind of strange. But I imagine if it was at our house and it was just us, we would probably do something closer to what her family used to do than would mine. But I don't know. Is that true in y'all's experience, that your wife's family's traditions tend to kind of take root in your family, or is it?
It's funny that you say that, because especially now that you bring up Christmas, because it is absolutely the truth. We used to always do in our family the outside family, like the uncles, aunts, grandma, granddad, all those kind of things. We would have our Christmas Eve dinner. And then, we would do the Santa Claus and the mom and dad gifts from mom and dad Christmas Day.
Right.
But with my wife's family, everything is done Christmas Eve, and that's the way it is. And of course we've changed that up a little bit just because of traveling, probably like you all do, but that's kind of what it is. And, they definitely, we're in Texas, right? And they listen to, the Dolly Parton, hard candy Christmas and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, dude, where is the Johnny Mathis? Come on.
Come on.
I need my Johnny Mathis.
Oh
So anyway, and Nat King Cole, where are you? But anyway, so so it's funny that you threw in the idea of Christmas traditions, because you're right. It definitely, her family has trumped anything that was tradition at my house. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's a good point. So Steve, newlywed time. So this is a good test. Tell us your thoughts.
We've had 2 Christmases together. Christmas Day, both times, has been with my wife's family, but our traditions are very similar. We all take turns opening a present, watch what each other opens, fawn over how great the gift is, all that good stuff. But I think the biggest difference is her family is so big, and so like Christmas Day is just her parents and just us, and it's nice and it's quiet and it's relaxing. Then either that evening or the next day is all the family. So it's 50, 60 people, and it's just like,
jeez,
out of control.
That is a conference.
And and it's a lot of fun, but it's like herding cats, just how hard it is to keep track of everything that's going on. And so, it's a lot of fun. I can see a daughter's daughter all her life, but a son is a son until he marries a wife. I can definitely see a lot of truth in that, especially with Christmas as the
that's
example.
a perfect anchor point, Noel.
Yeah. We all
it really is, because when that's like the big traditions time too. So that makes sense.
Yeah. It's when you kind of see.
I think for me, I've always sort of been a mama's boy. My mom and I, we're both foodies and all that stuff, and so we get excited about different meals and talk about the food and all that type of stuff. And so I think my mom and I will always have that bond, and my dad always, let's talk about the weather, let's talk about, tax laws, every now and then we'll talk about sports, stuff like that. But
I want to get together and talk about tax laws.
Yeah.
I have my book ready.
Yeah, there you go. My dad could probably go a couple rounds with you, Keith. But
no, I don't. I would lose instantly. I would be like, whoever did this needs to stop smoking, whatever it is. It's weird. He'll win, I guarantee you. Shout out to your dad too. I know he listens a lot. Hello.
Yeah, hey, Dad. But it's interesting. I love this discussion because it has me looking forward to Christmas. I can't wait.
Now you're gonna see if I throw one of these traditions in and see how fast I get shot down. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna throw in some Johnny. I'm gonna make an MP3 at Christmas. I'm gonna throw a Johnny Mathis in just to disrupt things. I'm just saying.
There you go.
Do it. That's a good one. So Jane, thank you for that question. That's a good one, and keep them coming if you have others, and listeners also, if you have other questions like that, we'd love to hear them. So thank you so much.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Really good.
Hey listeners, in episode 21, we told you about the great gift service available through bespokepost.com. Well, thanks to our friends at Bespoke Post, we're excited to announce that they're offering an exclusive 20% discount to Testosterone listeners. This discount is good towards the first box ordered when you subscribe to their gift service using promo code TZone20. So visit bespokepost.com today to take advantage of this great offer. Thank you.
Got a question for you guys.
All right.
So why did the pirate get kicked off the diving team?
I kicked off the diving team.
No clue.
I don't know.
All he did was cannonballs.
That's good.
Hey, it was better than last week's, right?
Yeah. That was a low bar, man.
No.
Last week was a bad week for jokes.
Yeah.
It really was all the way around.
Really bad.
So I heard some exciting news that NASA recently sent a bunch of cows into orbit. Did y'all hear this?
No.
No, I did not.
Yeah, it's called the herd shot around the world.
Oh.
You know, and the even better part is upon re-entry they'll be known as ground beef.
Oh, jeez. A twofer.
I mean,
that was end of one. That was awesome.
isn't it great that we live in the Milky Way galaxy?
Oh,
I don't know
Mic
if I
drop.
want to tell you my joke, man. That's too good.
Noel, I think it's time we move on.
Oh dear Lord,
That was utterly horrible.
this is utterly ridiculous.
Oh my gosh, I'm choking over here. Oh.
Good
Okay,
grief.
Steve,
So
you win the week.
yeah,
Already.
Thank you.
You win
Oh.
joke week for the week.
I haven't
Good
heard
Lord.
Noel's yet, but I don't know.
No, he wins. I think we're gonna skip mine. I'm gonna save it for next.
No, I
week.
still want to hear it. Still
Yeah,
want to hear it.
bring
So
it
with
on.
this going back to school, this week being going back to school week for a lot of people,
Right.
You know what What did the buffalo say to his little boy when he dropped him off at school?
Bison.
Shoot.
Yep.
See, I knew I should have just kept my mouth shut.
He should have gone second.
Yeah, I really should have. I was trying to, but he wouldn't let me. He was so excited.
I know. He was so excited.
Yeah.
About it. I don't blame him, man.
Yeah.
Oh,
Maybe Keith can.
don't tell us what site you got that off of, Steve. That's awesome.
You know, maybe Keith can mix this and put the jokes in a different order for us or something.
Oh, that'd be-
There we go. There we
that'd
go.
be-
I don't know. It might not have the same effect.
Nah, I think you leave it, man.
Nice one, Steve.
Thanks.
I like that.
Yeah,
That's
thanks.
good stuff.
That was nice. That's the first time he ever came on. He was like, "Hey, man, I'm excited about joke time." Like, hey,
I know that you knew something was up.
Yeah.
You know.
oh, you've been preparing all week.
Yes.
Totally. Late
Well,
at night.
I'm interested to see what our football picks do over the weekend, and
Absolutely.
so just summing it up too. This is a podcast. Obviously, we're releasing this tonight, which is a Thursday night, and so we're reformatting our podcast. We have usually been recording on a previous week to launch on Mondays, but we want to make sure that our episodes are timely with what's going on the weekends for football, and so. We're going to be launching every episode Thursday, so y'all can enjoy it while you're preparing for the sports weekend, and then we will have follow-ups that next week with how we did, how some of our listeners and special guests did, and we'll be able to stay in tune with what's going on each week in college football. And we think that this will be a lot more fluid with what we're trying to do here, and we're excited to be kind of relaunching this on Thursday nights. Right?
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, this is fun. Now we're in full swing. I cannot believe it's already fall. I cannot believe it's football season, but I'm so glad.
I am
Yeah,
too.
totally.
I miss
Oh my
college football. College football is the best. There's
It really is.
above pretty much everything except for baseball in my book. It's the best. So
I couldn't agree more. I love college football.
fun.
It's just something about the pageantry of it and everything. I can't
love
wait.
it. So
Awesome, guys. Well, good episode, Steve. Ready to send us off?
Sure, absolutely. So send us your picks on those 5 games that we hollered out, as we'd love to keep you as part of this. And remember, there's some swag available from the Testosterone Zone podcast if you play along and do well. And so, look, certainly glad it's football season. Thanks everybody for listening, and we'll talk to you all on episode 30.
Coming up on 30. See you, everybody.
See ya.
Hey, thanks again for listening to the Testosterone Zone. We sure had a blast visiting with you. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to subscribe, leave us some feedback, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
All Testosterone Zone podcast episodes are written and produced by Noel, Keith, and Steve unless otherwise noted.
The opinions expressed in the Testosterone Zone podcast are our own and not those of our employers, families, parents, kids, dogs, cats, your mom, or any other entity Noel, Keith, or Steve are affiliated with now, in the past, or in the future, or ever. Well, welcome everybody to episode 29 of the Testosterone podcast. This is Noel. I'm here with Keith and Steve.
Hello,
dudes. You there?
Yeah, it kind of sounded like you forgot the podcast name for a second.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Well, let's do that again. Welcome to the. What the hell are we doing?
Yeah, who are we? Yes. What's my name?
All right, that's for the outtake reel.
Yeah, it is.
All right, let's try this again in 3, 2.
So,
I
heard some exciting news.
Go ahead, Steve.
I heard some exciting news.
Go ahead, Steve.
Golly.
Go ahead, Steve.
Or whatever. Break it down, Noel.
Break it down.